Reacting to true story scary animations, yeah. Oh, we back with another one. And boy, you better get that out of here. This is not a drill. You guys know what to do. Get to the kitchen and get your snacks. Go, go, go. You guys gotta get your popcorn and get your chips and your candy and soda. Get some soda. Get some juice or some water. I guess you can get water. I'm talking about all the gummy bears and gummy worms and Sour Patch Kids. Get it all. And don't forget your blankets, okay? It's what keeps us safe. And then when you get back from the kitchen, make sure you guys click the subscribe button. It'll really help out the channel. And gotta give a shout out to MJV Animations. They're the ones that made these amazing animations we're about to watch. But yeah, comment down below what grade you're in. Are you in kindergarten? Are you in 2nd grade? Or are you in 6th grade? Let me know. And let go. Woohoo! Guys, I'm always nervous. But you guys are with me, right? Okay, all right. Gotta watch all the way to the end. Here we go.
I want to hear everyone's thoughts on this. I've been checking my area's Craigslist, and lo and behold, I saw a really weird post in my area in the missing connections section. The post said, "Your mother is in Hawaii," which on my Facebook, I have a profile pic of me in Hawaii with a Hawaii hat. Then the post said, "Your birthday is blank on the blank," which of course was my birthday.
Ooh.
Then the post said, "This is your big sister." I'm very, very, very confused. Am I crazy? Is this just a coincidence? Is the big sister the accomplice? Did they hack my Wi-Fi? I mentioned down in the comments that I changed my Wi-Fi password because there were 2 unknown devices connected. What the hell is going on? Started when I moved into our new house and started up a gym membership. I'm 5'3" and look pretty young for my age. Somebody the other day knocked and asked if my mother was home.
The heck?
Cringe, so I look like a little girl, I'm told. So one night at the gym, I see this weird guy staring at me and sort of following me around. He looked crazy, like a shell-shocked soldier. He was a very socially awkward, quiet, smart-looking kind of guy. He had a huge build too, probably like 6'4" and a bodybuilder type. So then he eventually passed by the machine I was on and looked directly at me, almost like he was trying to read me. It was like a deer in the headlights. My gut just told me I was in trouble. So I get up and head for the lockers, and no surprise, he headed for the men's. I made myself literally sit in that locker room for 20 minutes to make sure that we would not leave at the same time. I peer out of the locker room, don't see him, and start heading for the exit.
Run, girl.
This guy literally pops out of nowhere and heads out behind me. At this point, I'm now accepting the challenge. Stupid, I know. I slow down and stare at him with the most serious deadlock stare I can muster up. He walks to his car and I walk to mine, staring at each other the entire time. I stand there in front of my car and stare, and he slides into his car. He then lowers his head and gives me the most bone-chilling, evil-eyed stare anyone had ever given me. Kind of made me chuckle. I waited for him to drive off. So then I figured I lost him and started driving home. I live in a very small town with neighborhoods with dead-end cul-de-sacs. So, right before I turn into my neighborhood, this SUV drives up behind me on my tail all aggressively.
Are you serious?
I know he followed me home after that, but I have no idea how he was so stealthy. I'm pretty sure this guy is ex-military, just by his demeanor. Age 36 or so, his SUV, and just everything screamed ex-military. 3 days go by and my husband leaves for work. I'm upstairs in bed and I hear my front door open.
Oh!
Someone just walked into my house. My heart stopped. I had no idea what was going on. I creep out of my room and see all 3 of my kids are fast asleep. I walk over to one of their rooms and look out the window to the street. My heart does that dropping thing again. A car was parked directly in front of my house that I don't recognize. It was an old, unmarked car that was parked at a very unusual diagonal angle, and it was running. I started stomping on my ceiling and I start waving my hands at the car to threaten it. It races off and leaves whoever is in my house. Then, all of a sudden, I see this man emerge from under the window with his face completely covered. He was walking away with a quickness. But get this, he had the same build as the guy from the gym. It is just unmistakable. He's huge, and I've never seen dudes this big. At first, I thought it was an unrelated robbery, but statistically, they don't come back to the scene if caught. and he didn't take anything downstairs, and my laptop was right downstairs. My husband has seen that car apparently once after that 3 weeks later, and it sped off when he walked outside. My brother-in-law came to visit a couple of weeks ago and had to park around the corner. He told me he saw a guy walking by the house and looking very suspicious. When I asked for his description, he said some guy with a big build. I'm creeped out. I don't know what's going to happen.
Wait, that's it? Girl! No! Girl, you're cooked. At that point, you might as well move to Afghanistan.
Get out of there, girl.
Leave the kids. No, I'm just kidding. No, don't take the kids with you, okay? Everybody, please stick with me. Don't leave me alone. And let's go ahead and watch another one. Legal!
So last Friday night, I-17 male was home alone with my family, besides my sister, 21, who was at work. Stayed in their cabin a few kilometers away. I'm used to staying home alone, as this exact scenario is very common in the summertime, especially while I'm working and can't travel from the cabin and back. I'm not usually jumpy or afraid while home alone anymore.
I am.
Used to the odd creaks and settling noises of our old house. I was especially comforted by the fact that my sister's dog was also in the house with me that night, and most noises could be attributed to him, and if anything were to happen, he would act as a guard dog of sorts and alert me to anything odd. At the same time, however, he is the type of dog to bark at any noise or person walking past the door or windows, so I'm used to hearing him bark or growl at night. Even so, this past Friday, the sound of his barks at nearly 12 a.m. was disconcerting, to say the least. Despite my comfort with staying home alone, I'm still terrified of the premise of a break-in or some other uninvited human interaction at midnight. I let him bark for a few seconds, telling myself it was just someone walking past our glass door in the adjacent alleyway, and he would quiet down once they passed. Needless to say, that's not what happened. He kept barking and growling for a few moments too long, and I finally got out of bed. I sleep in the basement, and walked upstairs to check it out. As I'd suspected, he was standing alert at the glass door.
Why do you sleep in the
I was
basement?
comforted for a moment until I walked over, ready to close the curtains and go back to sleep, and saw the door open about 2 or 3 inches. I froze. I had let Bosco, the dog, out earlier that night, but I know I closed the door.
Bosco.
I've never left this door open. I am a paranoid person with bad anxiety, especially concerning break-ins and the like, so I would never, home alone, forget to close the door. I am 100% certain. But at the time, I didn't let myself think about these facts or even acknowledge that I could not have left the door open, because I knew it would send me into a spiral, possibly even an anxiety attack if I didn't explain this away. I closed and locked the door, double checking that it was certainly locked. Using the flashlight on my phone, the lights were all off. I looked around the entire second floor of my 3-floor house, including closets and other reasonable hiding spots, just to put my mind at ease. And upon finding nothing, I went back downstairs to my room. As I was down there trying to push away the fear, I could hear Bosco walking around on the floor that doubles as my bedroom's roof. I thought I was overthinking it when it started to sound like human footsteps, accompanied by Bosco's footsteps. He walks around for about 10 minutes before I put in my earphones and talk myself down until I can fall asleep. At 2 a.m. that same night, my sister comes home from work. I woke up a few minutes before this to Bosco in the basement, which he never does. There's even a gate to stop him from getting to the basement, whining at my bedroom door. When I got up to let him out, my sister walked in, and we let him out the front door rather than the glass patio door, letting him in the same way. We talked for a while before I went back downstairs, and my sister went to the bathroom. I forgot about the door, busy with work for the next few days, and forgot to mention it to anyone until tonight. My sister and mom were home with me for a movie night while my dad and brother stayed at the cabin. I remember the door situation when we were picking out horror movies to watch. I was sharing it as a creepy, almost funny story before my sister spoke up, saying that same night, an hour or so after they got home, the door was open again. The same door that was locked from the inside and not open since earlier that night. My stomach dropped and I started shaking the second this was revealed. We first started trying to explain it away. Maybe she had let Bosco out and forgot to close it until we both recalled that we'd used the front door. Then we were trying to justify a reason someone would break in to not steal anything and proceed to stay for 2 hours before leaving. Ultimately, I realized that I quite possibly locked someone in the house with me, then forced them to hide upstairs while I searched the second level of our house. Then this hypothetical person would be trapped up there now. Knowing that this house, that appears empty with the rest of my family gone and all the lights off, was not empty, and there was a dog who would bark if they showed themselves again, alerting me to their presence. Then, when I was in the basement and my sister was in the bathroom, they ran out the glass door, which is timed perfectly to when they found the door open once more, much wider than when I found it, as though they were only in a hurry on the way out. Perhaps they left it open the first time for a quick escape, or to stop the loud sound of it meeting the doorframe. Either way, it ties together too perfectly for me to reasonably brush it off. I know it's unlikely, especially with nothing missing, but in this small town, there have been many reports of break-ins with nothing missing, vandalism, or just breaking and entering many times. So it's not as unlikely as it may be in a bigger city. I can't make sense of this, and I'm shaken up thinking of the possibility of someone being in my house while I was asleep, alone in the basement.
No!
There's a part of me that doesn't believe it, but I can't shake the too many coincidences that all tie together to make this as concerning as it is.
No! See, that's why I don't stay at cabins in the woods. Bro, you need security cameras, you need alarms, you need, motion detectors, something. And you need a dog that's actually gonna find if somebody is in your house. Like, where's your weapons at, man? You should have had like a pitchfork or something. But guys, don't go anywhere. Let's watch one more. Let's go!
I've been working as a food delivery driver for about 8 months now. With how my contract works, I need at least 3 evening shifts, with 2 of those being between Friday and Sunday. I don't really mind working in the evenings since it has a nice vibe to it, being really calm. Just throw on some headphones and a good playlist or podcast and you're good. Plus, I never work for more than 4.5 hours on end since I work on an e-bike, so I can't do longer shifts without my battery dying. Keeping in mind, the bike needs to take me home as well. Apart from some stupid encounters I've had with teenagers trying to be funny in front of their friends, like biking after me and asking me for food or pretending to be the customer, I've never had anything creepy happen to me. That was until a few weeks ago. It was a Thursday evening. I had a shift from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Where I live, us delivery drivers get paid per hour instead of per delivery. This has its advantages and disadvantages. One of the disadvantages is that we can't decline orders on our own end. If we, for whatever reason, can't take an order, we need to talk with the company we work for. So whatever trip is thrown at us, we have to take. Up until this point, I'd been having good, close-by deliveries from nice local restaurants. None of the journeys were to faraway places, which was good. The weather was fine, it was cold, but if you layer yourself well enough, it's not that bad as long as it just doesn't rain, which luckily it didn't. It was around 8:15 p.m. when I got a McDonald's order. The customer lived around 12 minutes away from the restaurant, which wasn't ideal, but it was fine since I only had lost 1 stripe of battery so far. The location it was going to was also a good one, since the only time I need to get off the bike lane was to cross roads. Other than that, it was all bike lanes. I picked up the order after waiting for around 15 minutes.
McDonald's.
I got back onto my bike, chose a playlist, and made my way over to this customer. The streets were pretty quiet, setting the vibe. As I got closer to the customer's house, I made my way onto the sidewalk and cycled slowly, trying to find the house number, which can be a pain at night. I eventually did and locked my bike up. I walked over to the door and knocked. After a few seconds, I heard commotion and placed my bag down, taking out the food. The door opened and a lady greeted me with a smile. After handing her the food and telling her to enjoy it, she thanked me, and after giving me a tip, closed the door back up. I got back onto the bike and unlocked it. I had been charging my phone with my power bank, but wanted to take the charger off since my phone was now full enough, and dealing with the wire sticking out of my jacket pocket can be a hassle when taking off and putting back on my backpack. However, I always feel awkward and watched, staying in the front yard for too long, especially when they have those doorbell cameras, so I made my way over to a small alleyway close to the house. As I turned back off my bike, I took out my power bank to turn it off. Then I changed my playlist, and as I was putting the power bank back into my pocket, I heard slow footsteps creeping closer to me from behind. Now, This alleyway I was standing in was pretty narrow and small, so I was probably blocking it. I quickly moved and got off my bike, holding it close to me as I pressed up myself onto the wall. I excused myself and made a gesture for the person to pass. Instead of thanking me and walking on, the person just kept standing there. This is when I looked up. I was met with a tall, skinny lady standing just a few inches away. Her face was slim and her long hair came to rest on her shoulders. Her face looked white and she looked like a heroin addict.
Wednesday
She
Adams.
looked me dead in the eye without any expression and was breathing through her mouth. She was wearing brown jeans and a blue hoodie with the hoodie on. "Can I help you?" I asked after painful moments of silence. She looked at me for a few more seconds and said, "You have my food." I froze. Now in our app system, there is no way to actually confirm that the customer was the right one since we don't have any security codes to ask. Since I was busy with my power bank, I hadn't clicked finished order yet. I checked my phone and decided to ask the lady questions about the order. "Oh, I think another driver has your food. I just delivered to someone else," I said with a smile. "Where did you order from?" If she was right, I would have been able to help her easily with getting a refund. However, she just stared at me, her expressionless face turning into a hard, ugly glare. "No," she said loudly. "That was my food," she stated. Again, I tried to reason with her, asking for her name and what food she had ordered. "I'm just trying to help you, ma'am. Check your app. The app should tell you how far the driver is."
Get on your bike and get out of
Yes,
there.
She stepped back and pointed her hand at me. "My food. I need my food." At this point, I figured she must be homeless and hungry. "I have food if you want," I said. Now, I always keep snacks on me in case I have to wait long for an order to get ready or have no orders come in for a bit. We wait a lot since we can't turn down orders for taking too long to be made. My go-to work snacks are protein granola bars. They're easy to keep since they don't take up much space and you can eat them fast. I decided to give her a box and maybe she'd be satisfied. I took one out of my backpack and handed it to her. She
Nature
took it from
Valley.
me, damn near snatching it out of my
She
grip
don't want
and
that.
stepped closer. "I want my food," she stated sternly, her glare sharp. I let out a breath, getting really creeped out now, and once again asked her to check her app or give me her name. The name she put up with her so-called order. She took a big breath, and before I could say anything else, she exhaled and screamed bloody murder, making me flinch and press myself onto the wall.
Run, man.
In the process, I accidentally moved my bike's throttle. This thing alone doesn't get around past 4 kilometers per hour. I had some struggle, but eventually got on the bike and pedaled away, the lady still screaming behind me.
Ooh.
I got to a fence that prevented cars from coming in and had to slow down a bit. This was enough time for the lady to catch up and even grab onto the back of my bike.
Are you serious?
I let out a yelp as I could feel her try to push me. I also heard something scrape the wall next to me. I didn't want to look and instead put my bike on a higher assist mode, which I normally never do and always keep on 2 or 3 to spare battery life, pedaling like my life depended on it as I got past the fences.
Your life did
I
depend
then
on
put
it.
it even higher and cycled away. I could hear the lady yelling and calling me a food thief. As I glanced back, she held the box of granola bars above her head and threw them at me. They landed about a meter away from me. I also noticed what was causing that scraping noise, as she was holding a knife in her hand. I focused back on the road and cycled away, hearing the lady still screaming, yelling, and trying to run after me.
Dang.
Eventually, I went back to the app and finally clicked finished order, hoping to get a new one since I didn't want to aimlessly cycle around in fear of running into her, since I thought she might know all the shortcuts. I got a new order from a kebab place nearby, around 8 minutes away. This place was one I got sent to a lot, and the owner was very friendly, always asking us drivers if we wanted something to eat or drink and saying it was on the house. I got there and was slightly out of breath. He asked me what happened, gave me some water to drink, and helped me calm down, then gave me some food. After I told him, he talked to the company, saying I was in no state to keep doing deliveries. My work agreed to allow me to end my shift earlier. One of my coworkers came for the pickup, and since this delivery was just outside of city center, I biked back with him to the city, where it was still busy, and went on home after that. I'm very glad for the timing of that order, my coworker, and for the owner of the kebab store. I don't even want to know what that lady would have done to me if she had successfully pulled me off my bike.
No! Oh, jeez, and that's why I don't order food. That lady didn't have any food, but she had a knife. I mean, geez, sell the knife for some food. That was a close call. Bro, don't go down alleyways. Keep your butt on the main road. And if you see some sketchy lady near you, run and ask questions later. And don't hand her a Nature Valley granola bar. Nobody wants that crumbly snack. But hey, at least he got away. But if you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and smack that like button. And yeah, I'ma see ya in the next one. Peace.